Alright, this is number four, I think, in the series of like how I do it kind of stuff. This one you'll probably see the title All Along the Watchtower. Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix both have versions of these that are incredibly famous. It's a Dylan song initially, I believe, unless it's even older than that, and I'm getting that wrong in the comments if I am. Again, it's a how I do it. I don't think I do this song in a way which a lot of other people would choose to. However, if you like it and you choose to do it, here's some pointers as to where I go with it. I'm in E flat standard, D sharp standard tuning, half a step down from what a normal tuning on a guitar would be. So if I was to take my capo and put it on the first fret, now the rest of the guitar would be, there's your G chord, there's your E minor chord, D, C. But I'm a step down, so obviously it's F sharp, D sharp minor, things like that. So yeah, let's get started with how I do it. If you were playing in standard, this would be an E minor running down to a D major, running down to a C major, then back up to the E minor through the D major again. That's the entirety of the run. Just obviously this is D sharp minor running through a C sharp major to a B major. Yeah, because I'm the half step down. So, but it is. Yeah, that's your basic sort of tune. I don't do a lot of the song like that. I start off very different. Up here on the A fret on the 7th string is where I put my pointer or index finger, and on the B string on the 8th fret is where I'm putting my ring finger. And I've got an open G sat there, ready to work as a pedal note or a drone note. See, even when I've moved down to the C major here, I've still got the open G there as my sort of, like an anchor point, if you know what I mean. I'm using those Joni Mitchell open style chords again because I adore them and they give you a lot of room to mess around, which is why I'm not just going which, you know, I could very easily be doing that. Hello computer. Hello computer. Computer's decided to take a nap. Give me a second. No edits, no breaks, no nothing. Nothing at all. Just me doing this whole thing in one take. Well, we are there with your E minor. I mess around with it a lot, and you should too. For example, the 7th fret of the B string, the 7th fret of the top E string, the 8th fret of the top E string, the 10th fret of the top E string. Mess around with all of these as well as keeping your pointer on there, yeah? lots of different things you can do with it. Find your own. Don't exactly copy what I'm doing, because you're then missing out on what you do. You know what I mean? But here's how I do it with the variations. Also in my D major, which the D major chord I'm using, 5th fret on the A string and 7th fret on the B string with your open G. And then the C chord that I'm using, 3rd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the B string, again with that open G. Just mess around with it, figure out what you like. I'll give you an example of what I'm doing with it. Something like that. Give it a run. Find where your sort of rhythm and how you want to do it is all kind of coming together. Just give it time, practice, chill, run through it with a flow. Don't try and be overcomplicated to begin with. Let that come with facility and affinity with the chord progression, because it is this the whole way through. It's literally just E minor to D major to C major back to D major. If you're in standard tuning, my apologies, I'm obviously the step down, so D sharp minor, C sharp major, B major, back to C sharp major, back to D sharp minor. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that any number of different ways. You can take your sort of root E minor chord shape to start with. Get your bar chords on with your E-shaped bar chords, which is taking an E major shape from the E major main chord, where your fingers would be on the 2 fret on the A string, 2 fret on the D string, 1 fret on the G. You'd be playing all the strings and taking that shape and putting it way, way up here with a bar as well. So you've got your bar, say for example on the 10th fret, yeah, and you've got your ring and pinky finger on the 12th fret of the A and D string, and you've got your middle finger on the 11th fret of the G. In standard tuning, that would give you a D major, this being in drop down C sharp major, which is the same as when you do the bar on the 5th, and on the D, G and B strings you put your middle ring and pinky on the 7th fret, giving you an A-shape bar chord. They're all the same. They're all D major, or in my case, C sharp major. Other than that, this is all kind of about that variation, where it's like I start off with the intro of also I'm kind of in sort of your own sort of little rhythm, but you know, it's not supposed to be random when you're hitting the guitar. You're supposed to be mimicking having a rhythm section. So do keep it that way if you're going to do that sort of thumpiness. I can't help it. It's just how I play guitar. It's not actually a conscious thing that I'm doing. So, after you've done I'm going directly into the lyrics. And I start conspiratorial and pleading. You know what I mean? Someone who's been, like, left out of it for so long and messed around so long, they're like, oh, there must be some kind of way out of here. You know, because that's your first line. There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. Yeah, like real, give me some of that I've been through it emotion. I'm not trying to be angry. I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm trying to find a solution. That kind of thing. And you carry on with it with like the explanation for it. There's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. Businessman, they drink my wine. Yeah? Getting into it properly, because that's not entirely accurate for how I do it. There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. There's too much confusion, and I can't get no relief. Businessmen, they drink my wine. Plowmen dig my earth. None will level on the line. Nobody offered his word. And then we're switching voices here, because it's the thief talking instead of the Joker. So, no reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through that, and this is not our fate. So let us not talk falsely now. The hour is getting late. Yeah, still conspiratorial, still with that sort of, you know, this isn't talk for everybody. This isn't for public consumption. We might be in a public space, but this is, you know, sort of voice, a little conversation, conspiratorial. Joker and the thief having a little, you know, powwow. Yeah, that's how I see it anyway. And but instead of being like, oh, I can't handle this anymore, the second verse has that, yo, you need to lock in kind of vibe to it, you know what I mean? You know better than this. You and I, we've been through that. This is not our fate. Let us not talk falsely now. The hour is getting late. Yeah, you gotta lock in, mate. Lock in. We can get through this shit. if you lock it. That's sort of them. And then for the third verse, you're taking away from that just that very conspiratorial, like tete-a-tete style thing. And just panning right back, like if this was the beginning of a big movie, like you'd suddenly be panning out to these massive like city walls and the guards on them and merchants and visitors and people of note all going past. So it's sort of like but you and I, we've been through that. This is not our fate. Let us not talk falsely now. The hour is getting late. And all along the Watchtower, Francis kept the view. All the women came and went, barefoot servants too. Well, outside in the cold distance, a wild cat did growl. Two riders were approaching. The wind began to howl. All along the Watchtower, all along the Watchtower. Finish it however you want. I tend to vary it up a lot in terms of how I'm finishing it. Sometimes I'll fade it back into sort of like it works. And if you're wondering what that last is, it's a strum, but I've barely placed my middle finger in a bar over this, the dividing line between your 7th and your 8th fret, to create a 7th fret harmonic. Great trick, good one to learn. Anyway, let's see. Going back over it, we have your open chords, which give you a lot of room to mess around with the left hand or right hand if you're playing left-handed guitar. Lots and lots and lots of room to mess around. So I hope you have fun with it, and remember, whenever you're like into it, dynamics, using all of your vocal range, finding harmonies, all of this stuff. It helps make the song interesting, helps make it your own, and helps you tell a story without having to like point directly at the thing you're trying to talk about. Every single time you have to point at a different thing. You have to actually yeah, you can just storytelling in songs. You know what I mean? I hope this wasn't too long-winded or pretentious or anything like that. I want these to be as accessible as possible. If anyone has any decent advice, I can't really put any money towards it, like getting software to be able to start putting like tabs and things along the bottom or whatever. When I can, I will. But that's looking like it's going to be a long way off. YouTube is not great with the old cover songs and acoustic performances. All of those milestones that you need to get to seem really far off. But thank you for watching. Please have a go at it yourself, and I'll try and be back with more of these whenever I can. Bye bye.